Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is a really excellent class that's going to give you a broad knowledge of all the make market materials that you find in your digital cutting aisle. So first, I want to talk a little bit about the different machines that are out there. And those of you joining us tonight, if you kind of want to get warmed up using that Q&A, it's bottom of your screen and it just says Q&A. Let me know if you already own a digital cutter, which one it is, and which one you're thinking about getting if you don't already have one. So in the Michaels aisles, you'll find 3 different manufacturers of the actual cutting machines. You have the Caesar Juliet, and they just have this, I think in Michaels, it's just this one machine here that does 12-inch wide. The Cricut lineup, you have a variety of different machines from this little guy here. This is the Cricut Joy. It's the smallest size cutter. It cuts about, I think, 4.5 inches wide. And it's really just a powerhouse. It's tiny. It fits in a cubby hole. So it's a great little machine to have on the go. And then we have the Silhouette lineup of cutters. This is the Silhouette Portrait here. And this one is a great size because it does 8.5. It's really ideal for like 8.5 by 11 size materials. So all 3 of these different manufacturers make a variety of machines. And if you have any questions about the different machines, maybe which one would be best for you, what's your situation, I would love to kind of help answer those questions if you're just getting started with the machine and you just sort of want to know. So I'm seeing some Cricuts, I'm seeing a couple of Silhouettes, and Explore the Maker. So those are you guys are on top of it. With your Explore and your Maker, your Silhouette machines, or your Caesar machines, you can use any of the make market materials. And that's what you can really use any of the materials in the aisle with the different machines. The key is getting your cut settings, the right cut settings that you need. So in your Cricut machine, I usually select the same material settings as the Cricut materials. So that's how I use it I use make market materials in my Cricut machines. For my Caesar machine, I will do that test cut before cutting out a whole design. And that ensures I don't have a big boo-boo along the way. And then my Silhouette machines, I pretty much use their generic settings for the materials, but then I do a test cut with those materials. But with my Cricut, I do find that the cutting is pretty much the same. But for new materials, you might want to give a test cut just to make sure that it's the right size. So those are the different machines that we have available at Michaels. And let's talk a little bit about the Cricut materials. I mean, the Cricut materials, the make market materials. So the first thing I want to talk about is the mats. And one thing I love, I just got a new pack here, so I could open it fresh today. But what I really appreciate about the make market mats is they go in any of the machines, and they have them in the different sizes. So if you have the Cricut Joy, they have the little Cricut Joy size, and they'll fit in all of the different machines that are available in the stores. But this way, if you use multiple machines, like if you use different manufacturers, so let's say you have a Silhouette and a Cricut, you can just use one mat. If your store is out of the mat that you need, you can just grab the make market mat. They are as durable as you would expect them to be. They have the nice little hole on the top there, so you can hang it in your craft space and keep it up off the ground. Whenever you get a new cutting mat, this plastic sleeve here is designed to protect your mat and keep it sticky. So once you get a new mat, what I like to do is put a sticker on the front of the mat so I know which side is the outside and I don't mistake it for the inside. If you are familiar with mats, your cover, this clear cover, does have an outside and an inside. So the outside if it goes on the sticky side, it does tend to stick a little bit more than the inside. And that's why I put that just sticker on my mat. So I know, I'm looking over to see if I have one I can show you guys. But so I know which side of my clear protective sleeve to put back on. With your new mats, don't throw that clear protective sleeve away. And also, if you work on carpets, make sure your clear protective sleeves don't end up on the floor, because that will send you sliding. In the packet of the 3 different mats, you have 3 different styles of mats. So I have these just to show you what's available. You have your light grip mat, which is something I use when I'm working with cardstock or a light material. And then you have your medium grip mat, this gray one. And it says, oh, I have it upside down. It says the standard grip here. This one is the one you want to use with most of your vinyls, your heat transfer materials, your basic sturdier materials, maybe that are double layers, whereas your cardstock is only a single layer. So, and then your third one is the strong grip. And this is the one you want to use if you're working with fabric or felt, or you just need something that's going to hold your material a little bit harder. Now, I saw, since so many of you had the Maker 3, I will say, if you're using the strong grip mat with chipboard, or you're going to do some engraving, you still would want to use your blue painter's tape to hold your material down so it doesn't slide around on your mat. The mats come, like I mentioned, in the Cricut Joy size, and they also come 24 inches long. So if you're cutting something longer, you have all 3 different styles in the 24-inch size. So just keep an eye out for those. They're great to keep around in your craft space. So I really do like the mats. And I will say I like the different colors. They're kind of hang up nice in my craft space. So just some perks there. Now, one other tool that I found that Make Market has that's really become almost an indispensable tool for me is this packet of t-shirt guides. So I wanted to share that with you all. In the packet, you get 4 different sizes. So you have a toddler, a youth, a V-neck for an adult crew neck. So these are all the front pieces, and they have a line down the center. So you just line that up with the curve of your crew neck, and then you know how far down you want to place your design. And if you just line this up on that crew neck, you have that straight line to go across. So it really does make lining up a design on a t-shirt very, very easy. And it can even use it for a pocket design. So if you just go over to the side, you can use the measurements for your pocket design. The other 4 pieces are for the back of your shirt, which I thought when I first got these, I was like, I'm not going to use those. Who needs that? But then I started working with them, and I was like, wow, this really does make it easier. So if you are doing family reunion t-shirts, and let's say you're doing 20 t-shirts and you want to put everybody's name on the back of their shirt, using the guide really is helpful to get your letters lined up, or anything like that. So again, you have the different sizes. If you have an adult, your toddler, your youth back, and then the V-neck back. And the V-neck back is very similar to your adult back. So it's a very similar one. It's the neckline is just a little hair different. So just be aware of that if you pick these up. But this is something that I really have found very helpful to have in my arsenal. And I really like it. I'm thinking about punching holes in it so I can keep them on a ring and I don't lose one in my space. For now, I just keep them in their little packaging, so I can just find them when I need them, and I tuck them away in a drawer. A couple other tools I wanted to point out are Make Market has all of your crafting tools that you need. So you have Make Market weeding tool, which you use to weed out your design. They come in packages with different tools. So there's a package that has the little flipper tool that's great for getting small pieces off of your mats, as well as a brayer, which I use. I used to have an old one, and then I finally got a new one, and I never really used it before on my crafting with my machines, but a couple years ago, I started to use this, especially when I worked with cardstock, and it was a game changer for me. So, so you can get your brayer there, and you have your weeding tool, little pair of scissors, all your little tools that you need to go with your machine and go with your crafting. So those, you can look for those in different individual packs or packs, multi-packs that have, you know, 4 or 5 different pieces in there. So do you have to use, that's a great question. Do you have to use tape or something to hold down the guides on the tees? You really don't. When you put your t-shirt down on your work surface, this is kind of my cheat. So I'm just going to look for one. Here's the adult front. So when you put this down on your shirt, let's grab a shirt. I have one, like I just have some samples here to show you guys. But when you put your guide on your shirt, what I usually do, right? So you get your shirt lined up, fold your shirt in half like this and match your shoulders and your side seams, and then give yourself a little press, like a crease. So, you know, you do that 5-second press to get the moisture out of your t-shirt, then give yourself this little crease. When you open your shirt up, you'll have a crease down the center, and you take your template and you place it on your shirt. And then I usually go 2 to 3 fingers down from the crew neck size, depending. And then I have my line right there. What I do when I have my heat transfer vinyl that I'm ready to put on my shirt, usually there's just a little bit on the top of it. So I kind of push that onto the guide and can tape it there. And then I just hold my design down and peel my guide off of the shirt from that. But if you're working on your flat surface, getting ready to press something, this isn't going to move around on you. It does look flimsy, but it's just as sturdy as you need it, and it will sit right on your shirt unless you're picking up your shirt. But that would be a hard way to line up your shirt if you're moving your shirt around. So you put your shirt on your surface, you put that down, and then you position your vinyl on your shirt, and then you just remove the ruler before you press. I have not made the mistake of pressing this yet. I'm sure that is, you know, that's going to happen someday, because sometimes you just get so excited you forget, like, oh, don't forget to move your template. So just keep that in mind, that you do want to move that template before you press it. But that's a great question. So another tool I use, like if you're doing the permanent vinyl material and you're using your weeding tool and you're weeding out all those little pieces, this guy is fantastic. It suctions to your work surface. So like, sorry, wiggling my desk. Once you push it down, you can really get your weeding tool in there and pull off all your little pieces off of your weeding tool. So it's got these little slits on the side. Looks like a little monster, but your tool, you just pick up your weeding pieces and then it just slides right into the inside. And then when you're ready to clean it out, you know, you've got enough space to get your fingers in there and get it all cleaned out. So, but I love how it sticks to your work surface, and it really makes it easy to get your weeding tool, your weeding pieces off of your tool. So that's another really, if you kind of saw that in the packaging, you might think like, well, what is that? It looks like a nail polish or something you'd use in your beauty routine, but it is for your vinyl. And then one other tool that I have found indispensable is this drinkware holder from Make Market. It has like a high side here and a low side here. So when you put your drink tumbler in it, and it does a lot of different size tumblers, when you put your tumbler in it, you can kind of see it angles, which makes it easy to lean over it a bit and press your design right into the top of it, versus this way of it is flat. So I always find I tend to use the angled side here. But this is also really good if your tumbler happens to curve down. That also is helpful there. So when you have that tapered type of tumbler, that's super helpful to just kind of have that curve down like that. So that's how I use this. And then it has the squeegee. So your squeegee is very similar to your brayer. It pushes things down. But the cool thing about the squeegee that's a little bit different is it has like this, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a little carpeting on the side here. It's fuzzy. So if you put your vinyl down and then you use your squeegee to push it down, the soft side is not going to damage your container. So if for some reason, like I've done this with my my infusible ink, if I've got something that's taped down, I've used my weeding tool on this stainless steel tumbler and it's dinged it. So if you use this plastic soft side, you can get under it without dinging the metal here. But then also with the soft side, same thing when you're trying to make sure you have all the bubbles out of your vinyl. And the cool thing about it is, I don't know about you guys, but when I craft, I get like my whole table covered and I'll be like, where's my weeding tool? And pulling everything up. The Make Market, this little guy has a holder side. So you can take your squeegee and you just put it right in there. So whenever you're crafting, you won't lose it. And even when you're not crafting, like now I can set this up on my shelf and I always know, oh, my squeegee's with my drink container. So I know that like somebody was thinking about that when they designed this, but that is definitely like a huge perk for me. So those are probably like my most used Make Market tools. There is a Make Market tool that it was a measuring tape that went across your tumbler and you could measure the circumference of your tumbler. I have not been able to get my fingers on that. So I keep my eye out for it every time I go on my Michaels, and I haven't seen it, but that seemed like a great tool as well. I just haven't played with that one yet to know for sure that that is, an easy tool to use. So those are the basic tools that I use whenever I'm using vinyl or heat transfer vinyl or cardstock in my in any of my different machines. I use those tools. I keep them handy. So now let's talk a little bit about the materials. And I pulled together a basket of the different materials that are available. There's two main categories of materials in the digital aisle. Let's just call that aisle the digital aisle. There's two main categories. Let's call three main categories. One, you have vinyl. And that is different manufacturers call it something different. Caesar calls their vinyl PSV, pressure sensitive vinyl, which means like when you press it to something, it's going to stick. Make Market calls it permanent vinyl. I think Cricut also calls it just vinyl, and Silhouette also just calls it vinyl. So that's the sticky side of it. It's got like one side of it is sticky, the other side of it has your design on it. And it applies with a pressure method as opposed to a heat method. So that's the other type of vinyl in the aisle is heat transfer vinyl, HTV. So you have Caesar and Silhouette call it, I think, HTV, heat transfer vinyl. Your Cricut will be called iron-on vinyl, which is the same type of material, and Make Market calls it heat transfer vinyl as well. So, and then there's the third material, which I didn't pull out because I don't see that much of it in the aisles anymore, but it's an infusible ink product. And that is also a heat product that you apply with heat. But these were the two main materials that I really wanted to focus on tonight and sort of like walk us through the different types of material and how you might use them in different ways, and then give you guys, if you have questions, if you've seen something like, I'm wondering how does this work, let me know and we can go over these individually. But let's just kind of start with the just the permanent vinyls that are there. Yes, so regular vinyl, if you see it, it says permanent vinyl. This does not require any heat to apply. It literally has, let's see, I have a piece right here. I haven't cut anything into this piece, but this is just a piece of the vinyl, the transfer vinyl, the permanent vinyl. And you just cut it with your machine. So when you're cutting it, you're going to apply it onto your standard grip mat. So we'll use the gray mat, and you apply your vinyl onto your gray mat, and then you cut out your design. So if we're going to have it, you just apply it onto your mat. So I usually put it up in the right-hand corner. Is that my right-hand corner? When I apply it. So you put it with the material side up onto your mat. Use your little brayer or your squeegee to make sure it's down. So you apply it like this onto your mat, and then you cut it with your machine. When it's cut, and I have some cut pieces I have hidden in here. Okay. When your material is cut, then you weed your vinyl, and it has this, what's called a carrier sheet. So the white background is the carrier sheet of your vinyl. You'll use a vinyl transfer tape to then pick up your design. And if you give me 1 second, I'll step away. I have a design that's in the process right here. So this is a piece that I've done the layered on the vinyl, and I have the heat transfer tape on it. Excuse me, just the transfer tape on it, and then I can transfer it onto my glass. So this one happens to be this little red design here, and the vinyl itself is adhesive. So it has adhesive right on the back of it. So if you were to peel a piece off of your design, it would have the stick right on the back, and I could add that onto my glass if I wanted to. So you can use, if it's a design that you want to keep everything together, you would use the transfer tape on that. And if it's a design that you can just peel off and put down, you can just do that too. You don't always have to use the transfer tape. But you do, like if you're working with a big design like this, and you're going to transfer this to a tumbler, you want to use that transfer tape to hold everything together. And we actually did a workshop recently making this cup. So it should be on the Michael's YouTube channel if you want to see how to apply it all together. And I think there's one on this one too, actually. Rich, you may remember those, which classes those were. But those are, so that's kind of like, in general, it is adhesive. You don't need any heat to transfer it. Now, the make market vinyl is all labeled as permanent vinyl. So what does that mean? That means if your tumbler or your cup is dishwasher safe, so this one happens to be dishwasher safe, it's just a glass, I could put this in the dishwasher and run it through the dishwasher, and the vinyl will not come off. It also means that if you want to make like card decals, or I use the permanent vinyl, and I will do, I'll do my outdoor flower boxes for my kids' graduation. Unfortunately, they've all graduated, but in the years past, I've done it for them, and I have these flower boxes, and some are from 2018 and 2022. That's the date range there. So I have flower boxes that I made in 2018. I still put them out and they still look great. So your permanent vinyl is weatherproof. What I would not use the permanent vinyl on is if you're doing something cutesy, home decor, that's temporary. So if you want to put some like white ghosts at Halloween on the mirror, definitely do removable vinyl. So the Cricut vinyl has removable vinyl or permanent vinyl. So you definitely, depending on what you're using it for, that's what you want to do. Now I have peeled off my permanent vinyl before. In fact, again, those graduation bins. One son graduated in 2018. The next one graduated in 2019. So I had to, I did remove the 8 and replace it with a 9. So, and that was a year later, I still was able to peel it off. But I really had to like get my fingernail under there and peel it off. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so let's talk about the different types of vinyl that you'll find on the aisle. One fun one to work with is glitter vinyl. So your glitter vinyl has a texture to it. When you're working with glitter vinyl, this is one little tip. There's 2 different types of transfer tape. There's the standard grip transfer tape, which we will use with almost everything in this basket, except for if it has a texture. So your glitter vinyl, your textured foil, and your chalkboard vinyl, you want to look for strong grip transfer tape. It has more grab to it. So with these textured materials, the strong grip transfer tape will grab that off the surface, and it makes it easy once you've weeded it and you want to put it on like transfer tape. It will help grab these designs off of your carrier sheet. So just keep that in mind. So there's lots of different colors of glitter vinyl. I should have done a count to see how many different colors there were, but you have a lot of different glitter vinyl. Very fun to use. It does have a texture to it. It is permanent. You can put it through the dishwasher. So you have lots of options with the glitter. The foil, I love this in the fall, the textured foil vinyls. These look so great on charger plates. If you're doing any home decor in the fall, I don't know why the fall. I guess the colors, they're more like foily, you know, you've got golds and burgundy and like burgundies and dark colors. So these look really great in the fall. And then your chalkboard vinyl. This is a great vinyl to use for organization. So if you have bins around the house that you need to just label and you know you're going to be constantly relabeling things, this is a great vinyl to use around the house. And again, like your Cricut Joy size machine, this is a great machine to like take into other places. So like if I'm organizing our medicine pantry, or you know how once a year you kind of got to pull all of the old medicines out and restock your Band-Aids and your cold medicine and everything like that. So I like to take my Cricut Joy up to the bathroom, and then I'll have my container, and if I need to relabel my container, I can just cut out a new label and put it on the container. Or if I use the chalk vinyl, I can just erase it and use one of those cool chalk pens and just rewrite whatever you need to have on there. So really cool. Like I think as a teacher, this would probably be my #1 go-to to label my classroom. Like every year, you know, label where kids' coats go. You can have a design there, and then each year just replace it with this. This is also very fun. Think about like all the different places you can put your vinyl. So if you have somebody going to college or you need to do a graduation gift, make them a little message board with the chalkboard. Go, you know, the little wood aisle with all the different types of wood. You can make them a message board that they can hang on their door, or a reminder board if they have exams coming up or anything like that. So the chalkboard is really fun to work with, and I love that one. And then I have the solid colors. I didn't pull all my solid colors because there are so many solid colors. You have a rainbow of solid colors in an array of like levels of color. So you have neon colors, you have pastels, you have really bright, vibrant colors. So lots and lots of colors. And I want to say, like, don't be afraid to mix and match. So if one manufacturer has one color and you're like, oh, that's just the perfect shade of red, and this happens to be the perfect shade of orange, don't be afraid to mix and match those manufacturers in your project. So you may have different cut settings for them, like your glitter permanent vinyl will cut differently than your matte permanent vinyl, but you can use them together in the same project mix and match your textures as well as mix and match your manufacturers. So Make Market has like a great selection of colors, but if they don't have like just that perfect color you need, don't be afraid to like go in and grab something else that will work for you. And then there's a whole series of print vinyl. So I don't know if you guys are into home decor, but IKEA is always something people are upgrading and adding a little touch to here and there. I saw somebody take the print vinyl and cover the doors of their IKEA cabinet. And I was like, that's gorgeous. I never would have thought of that. But the permanent vinyl like this, the pattern vinyl, this is really fun to use. I'm going to pull it out because you can really use this. I think I'm going to pull it out. Yeah, there we go. It's got like the design just goes forever. So if you're making like a Mother's Day tray, or you want to give your kid, like do something in the playroom or something like that, like this design just goes on and on and on. This is little mushrooms. So very fun and cute. If you have multiple children and you're trying to keep them organized, you can take a pattern for each child and cut their name out in their pattern or anything like that. But I think this is just so cute. If these mushrooms were bigger, this may go up on my wall somewhere. It's just fun. And there's like checkerboard ones. So if you're doing a birthday party at like a race day birthday party or leopard party, like a zoo party, there's lots of different colors and different patterns that you can use. Other fun ones are there's holographic ones, which I thought I may have some in the iron-on. I can show you that. But glow in the dark. You will be surprised at how much this stuff really glows in the dark. What I do is I use this on wine bags at Halloween, and it's so fun because you have it and you do like a little phrase or some like witch's hair. You can see this is the iron-on here, but like I said wine bags, I meant a wine bottle. You take the label off and then you remake a label that glows in the dark. Super fun for parties. The glow in the dark is it's great for costumes. If you need to do like, I don't know, somebody's name on their trick or treat bucket or something like that, like you can pop that in there. It's also kind of good in the closet. So if you have a closet that is dark, you can have your glow in the dark there, but it does need to be exposed to light before it will do the glow in the dark fun. So kind of keep that in mind. Maybe a closet's not the right spot for it. But now this is fun too. This is color changing vinyl. And again, this is the type of vinyl that has the adhesive on the back. You have two different types. One changes color with cold and one changes color with heat. On the packaging, you'll see a little snowflake for cold, and you'll see like a hot mug for hot. So the cold is really fun to use on mugs like this, on the glass tumblers, to just put like a fun little design on this. It's very cute. I did one for the eclipse last summer. I think it was last summer. When the eclipse came, I used the color changing vinyl and made tumblers for that. That was really fun. And then your heat is really fun, like when you're thinking like hot cocoa or tea, something for Mother's Day. This is really fun. And it does show you, it goes like purple to pink on this one. And this one goes like a turquoisey color to a dark blue color. So those are really fun options. And then you also have some of the reflective vinyls, permanent vinyls. So if you're needing to do something for bikes or at night, like if somebody's, you've got like a weird parking driveway or something like that, like this is a great reflective to put in there. I've actually used this to make street signs. Like if we have a party and we need to have designate where people park, I've made signs out of this. And so during the day you see it, and then at night it reflects, so you see it at night. So very, very fun. I think you'll find a lot of uses for it, the reflective. Okay, so that is all the different samples I have. And actually, I will tell you one more thing. The reflective does have a texture to it. So again, another one you'd want to use that strong grip transfer tape with. The color changing vinyl is thick compared to the other vinyls, like this type of vinyl. This was a little bit thicker. So a design like this, you can't really see this design. I should put let me see if I put a t-shirt in there, if you can see it a little better. It's just got hearts and dots on it. So it's just kind of like a fun little design. But these designs are, let's see, can you see it a little better? Yeah, there you go. So I think a design like this, the color changing would work great with, but a design like this one where it's very thin, I think you'd be a little frustrated weeding it out and putting it on. And since it does have a bit of a texture, like a thickness to it, it's not like really I wouldn't use it for traveling tumblers, but like on something like this, it's great. And you just I would recommend doing just a little bit of a bigger design.
Kesley, do you feel confident in the quality of the Make Market vinyls if you were selling those items for yourself?
That's a great question. I use all of the different manufacturers' vinyls and heat vinyls, which we're going to go over next. So I've used all of the different ones that are available, and they are all quality product. So yes, if I were reselling my designs and I made something and I was reselling it, I would feel confident in reselling this design. I would make sure that I told somebody, for example, this is permanent. This is, you can wash it, hand wash recommended, dishwasher recommended. So you want to make sure that like this product doesn't go in the dishwasher. This would need to be hand washed. This I would put in the dishwasher, no problem. I have this is kind of a new one I did for Valentine's Day, so I actually haven't used this one yet. But I have other designs that I have run through my dishwasher, and they haven't come off anything. It goes on very smoothly. So I would feel confident, yes, putting this in a market and selling it in a market or taking custom orders, definitely. I think that's a definite yes. All right, now let's talk about the Make Market heat transfer vinyl. Again, the heat transfer vinyl requires heat to set it. So this is what you're going to use on the different t-shirts that we have. Like this one is just a white vinyl with a red glitter heart on it. This one is the glow in the dark vinyl. So you've got a couple options there, different colors you can see. But the heat transfer vinyl, you do need to have a heat source to set the vinyl. Now, if I were, back to the other question, if I were selling items, I would definitely use an easy press or like the Caesar t-shirt press. I would use one of those two products or something like that instead of a home iron. The first vinyl shirt I ever made, I should have grabbed it to show you guys. I did use my home iron, and it's got to be like 15 or 16 years old. It's probably 15 or 16 years old, this t-shirt, and the vinyl's still good. I don't fit into the shirt anymore, so I don't wear it, but I did like a couple years ago. I wore it and I washed it, and I was like, I cannot believe this shirt is still sustaining itself. But so just know, like, using a home iron is an option, but for yourself, like, definitely it's an option. But if you are selling items, I would use an easy press to really get those good press settings, or a t-shirt press. So like the clamshell auto press, Caesar's press, or any other type of t-shirt press. You definitely want to have it like stick down on there. Okay, so I have my little basket here. Let's talk about the different iron-on materials. So this is a black iron-on material. Again, huge selection of color choices that you have. The iron-on material, and I'm thinking if I have one cut so I can show you. The iron-on material does have a carrier sheet. It's a clear carrier sheet. So when you're using iron-on material, it's a little bit different. Let me see if I have one of these open. Here we go. Maybe this is a good one. When you're using your iron-on material, so this is the glow in the dark. See, really cute. Your iron-on material has two different sides to it. You have a matte side. Uh-oh, am I frozen all total? Oh,
You've
I'm coming back. I don't know what happened. My front facing one is still frozen, right? Okay, there we are. Sorry about that. What I was saying was your heat transfer vinyl has two sides to it. So you have this shiny side, which is actually the carrier sheet. It's not the material, which when you get started with any heat transfer vinyl, you may be thinking, well, this is the material side. It's so shiny, this dull side. And on this instance, it's a white side. That must be the back side of it. So you think you have to cut into it this way. No, when you're cutting with your heat transfer vinyl, you actually want to cut on the material side. So that is the dull side of your design. This side is the carrier sheet. So this is, you put in the opposite of the way that we did the vinyl material, our permanent vinyl. Get that off of there. And I always remove my material upside down. So I'll hold my material down and pull my mat off of my material, as opposed to pulling my material off of my mat. But when you put your heat transfer vinyl on your mat, you want to put it with the shiny side down, and your adhesive side, your material side, will be facing up. So when you put it on your mat, you're going to do it like that. In your software, each of your digital cutters has its own proprietary software. In your software, before sending it to cut, you want to mirror your image. So it's flipping your image and cutting it out of the actual material. But when you go to put that on your shirt, you are putting it on your shirt with the shiny side, the carrier sheet, up. So that goes onto your shirt. Like if I were putting on my shirt, it would go on like this. So it is actually the material, but it has this carrier sheet on it. The carrier sheet is what kind of protects your design on your shirt and from getting the iron on it, your heat on it. So that's kind of one difference between, I lost the thing for this. That is the difference between your pressure sensitive vinyl and your iron-on vinyl. You mirror your iron-on vinyl and you cut it on the back of the material. And that's how you mirror it. Now, if you're doing a design that doesn't have words on it, you don't have to worry so much about mirroring, but you kind of want to be in the habit of mirroring anything that you're going to iron. So whatever material you're using, if you're ironing on, you usually flip it over. So you have the glow in the dark, and it comes in a variety of different colors. Very fun. You have the regular heat transfer vinyl. Oops, that's not regular. Where's my regular one? You have the regular heat transfer vinyl. I think that was this one is my regular one. So the regular ones, I think all have the blue stripe. So one thing to notice is the different materials. Your heat transfer vinyl has the white packaging, whereas your regular vinyl, your other vinyl, has the black packaging. And the different types of vinyls have different colors to indicate what they are. So your regular vinyl, your regular heat transfer vinyl, is the blue stripe, and it comes in so many different colors, and you can mix and match your colors if you want to combine those and make a fun shirt. That type of material, the regular heat transfer vinyl, is great on like your cottons, anything that you can do cotton blend. Just look at the back of your packaging. It will give you the heat settings, the recommended heat settings for your design. So just on the back of your packaging, each one of it will tell you what your recommended heat settings are. There is, in the same kind of genre of these solid colors, you have stretch vinyl. Why would you need stretch vinyl? Well, think about like your yoga pants or an athletic shirt that is designed to stretch and pull as you do your activity. So if you are making, like, I'm trying to think of a shirt, a wrestling shirt, or just that nylon, you know, that like really stretchy nylon material. If you use just the regular heat transfer vinyl on it, it will be fine. Like it would go on, it would be okay, but it won't stretch with your shirt. They have stretchy vinyl that is designed to stretch with your shirt. You do have, I think the stretchy vinyl has a shorter press time. Let's see, 290 degrees for 30 seconds on the stretchy, and 290 degrees for 30 seconds on the regular. So same settings. The stretch vinyl, I found if I've put the stretch vinyl by accident on a cotton shirt, it doesn't hold as well. I don't know why that is, but it just doesn't hold as well. And you'd think it would hold okay because it's not, your shirt isn't stretchy. But I found that the regular vinyl does okay on stretchy materials, but your stretchy vinyl does not do as well on regular materials. And I just think it's because of the design of it. It's designed to be stretchy. And so it, like when you, it just is designed to be stretchy. So if you're doing like that nylon shirt or something like that, I would recommend getting the stretchy vinyl. Otherwise, your regular vinyl is great.
So, Kesley, if you're combining colors, for example, the shirt you have in the back, do you use a different color sheet separately? How do you get that combination?
Yes, so you can do it in one of two ways. So something like this one, because each line is its own color, I could cut out each color and then kind of piece it back together. Something like this one, which uses the glitter vinyl, and I want those layers to nest with each other. You cut out the whole thing, the whole design in gray, and then you cut out the whole design in purple. And you remove what you don't want for each color. So so they nest one color on top of the other. So when I cut this design, for example, I cut a big, of the big design in the silver glitter and the big design in the purple glitter. On this one, especially since there were different lines, I only cut just that one line in the green. And then these two lines I cut at the same time in the pink, and then the blue in the center. And then on your t-shirt, you mirror them, you match them back up. So for example, this one here, this one was relatively easy to match back up because, I had a big block of space in between each of them. It didn't have to, I had a little bit of wiggle room to work with on this one, but the side hearts sort of helped me keep it lined up. On this design, you just have to pick one color to go first, and you press that color, and then you put the next color in and you press that color. Your first color, if you're doing multiple layers of colors, your first color, you really just want to do like a kiss press. So you want to press it enough that it will hold in place, but not press it the entire time. So usually 5 to 10 seconds first. And then when you add the second color or your last color is when you do the full 30 seconds of the press. So your first one is only like, I call it a kiss cut, because you're just like pressing it enough to hold it. And then on the last one, you want to press it so it stays the whole 30 seconds. And that's if you're working with different colors, different types of material, What I like to do is I keep my solid colors first, and then I add my glitter on last. Usually your glitter does either require, um, it depends. Actually, let me take that back. If I'm mixing materials, like let's say I'm using the glitter red and the stretchy red, I would look first to see which one requires the highest temperature to set, and that's the first one I would do, followed by the one that's the lower temperature. If it's the same temperature settings, I would do my flat one and then my texture one. So it's the same 290 degrees to 315 degrees for 30 seconds. Same temperature settings, but I would probably do my matte one first and then my glitter one on top of that.
Michelle
If
said
you're
she would
doing
love
like this, mhm.
Michelle said she would love to see you do a tutorial or a class on mixing the different types of materials. She gets
I
confused, she
think
says.
this was a class we did in October. So we do, if you go on the Michael's YouTube channel and just search for my name, Kesley, my classes that I've taught previously should show up. I'm trying to think if I've done a t-shirt class. I'm sure I have recently. But I know that I'm pretty sure that one's on the website, because that was the vinyl. But it can be tricky, and especially like something like this shirt here. This one, you can see that foil. That's like this foil here. This one has the transfer sheet, infusible ink transfer sheet in the bottom of it. The leopard is that. And then I added the foil, the green foil and the gold foil on top of that one, to give that a little bit of a shimmer. So this shimmer material is really fun to use. I personally, I don't use it on the whole shirt, but it's a good little accent piece to just kind of pop something up. Now, the puff material, we do have a shirt. We do actually have this class is on the Michaels website, and I did this with the silhouette, using their puff material. But the puff material is so fun. It it goes on flat, so it looks like flat vinyl. But then when you heat it up, it puffs up, and so it has like a texture to it. So I love the puff vinyl. Like I have a little sleeve accent here, but it's really fun. Like if you have kids that like that sensory touch, to put it on like the side of your shirt. So if you have kids and they want to have that sensory, that touching, if you're reading books or snuggling or something like that, like it's just got such a fun texture, on it, and it makes it just kind of unique. And that's the puff material. And then there's like lots of different, again, the pattern material. I use the pattern heat transfer vinyl on, excuse me, when I do like, if I'm doing like a sorority shirt or something, like big letters, I like to do my patterns when I have got like a big chunky design, as opposed to, like I wouldn't use a pattern on this design here. But like on a big chunky design, it looks really cute to use the pattern material. And then this last one I've saved is called flocked material. So the flocked material has a texture to it already. Like it's got a very soft sandpapery. It's not sandpapery, but it's just got a really soft texture to it. It's called flocked. It's got the red label on it. Comes not as many colors, maybe like 6 to 8 colors, but your basic colors. And it's so much fun to use because it's unexpected. So I have this design here that has the flocked design on it. This is just a nice, like a nice big blanket, and it has the flocked mommy established on it. So it's just nice. I don't know why I like the texture of it. But it's fun again if you have a child that likes the sensory, or maybe I like the sensory, to it. But it just gives it a little bit of a different look than your regular vinyl does. So your regular vinyl is kind of like very flat. You can feel it, but the flocked vinyl has a texture to it, which is really fun. Another thing I'll touch base on, which we really didn't touch too much on, that I just think is important. When you're using heat transfer vinyl, you can feel it. I usually, if I'm making shirts, I try and make them at least 24 hours in advance, just so everything has a chance to settle. And if anything didn't stay down, I can kind of just go back in and touch it a little bit with a little bit more heat if I need to. Very rarely does that happen, usually when I'm trying a new technique or a new product. But the difference between your heat transfer vinyls and, say, a sublimation design or the infusible ink design like this one, your infusible ink and your sublimation designs, when you heat those up on your shirt, that ink is absorbed into the fibers of your shirt. So your vinyl sits on top of the shirt. And so you can use it on anything, like I've done iron-on vinyl on wood before. You can do it on canvas. You can do it on canvas tote bags, canvas, like actual canvas frames. There's just so many different applications. Anything you can iron, you can put heat transfer vinyl on. Your infusible ink and your sublimation ink has to go on a shirt that has 100% polyester. And that's because those polyester fibers absorb the ink that is pushing out when it's heated up. So that's a whole nother class right there. But so just keep in mind, like when you're thinking about your vinyl, it does sit on the top of your shirt. You can feel it. But like I was saying about my very first shirt, and even this cheer shirt, I've worn this probably for like 8 years. I've worn this shirt and washed this shirt, and you would not know it. Like the shirt, I don't even think there's any pilling on this shirt. But it's an Old Navy shirt even. So like think outside the box. Like you can put your designs on all kinds of things, like backpacks. You can do anything like that. But again, like I guess my point is this shirt has been worn and washed over and over and over again. With the right settings, following your manufacturer's instructions, and every type of heat transfer vinyl will have probably different heat settings and the way that you set it based on, which iron you're using and things like that. So that's kind of keep that in mind and really look at your manufacturer's instructions. So I hope that answered all of your questions. We do have lots of fun classes. A lot of these shirts we have made in different workshops on the Michaels channel over the years. So do check those out. And on next Thursday night, same time, we have a workshop where I will actually be going over all of the different blanks that are available in the Make Market aisle and give you ideas on how to use those blanks. It doesn't matter which cutter you're using. They all will cut the material, and then you can apply everything onto the different blanks that are out there. And I'm going to do as much as I can. There's so many, that aisle is so full of different blanks and fun things to do, but this is a great time to start learning. If maybe you got a new machine this year, or you're just getting started, this is a great time to start learning and start practicing so you can gear up for your summer markets and then your fall and your winter markets. I know it sounds so early. You may be like, Kesley, I am still in winter. But you can start planning and thinking about like, oh, I could make this for this, and oh, I can make that for that. So these are great fun classes. And if you have any last minute questions in the Q&A, if you're like, hey, I've seen this, I'm hesitant to buy it, maybe could you demo this? We'll just keep that open for just a minute, maybe, Rich, so people can just pop in. And yes, I will be teaching our workshop next week. My workshops are usually Thursday nights or Monday mornings, Monday afternoons, depending on your time zone. So you get me one way or the other. And I do the digital, all the digital classes, workshops. I'll do happy planner workshops, sewing workshops. So we do a lot, right? We cover a lot around here. All right. Oh, that's a great question. I keep saying your questions are so good. You guys have asked great questions. Is there a way to clean the cutting mat? Yes. Firstly, maintenance. So you want to maintain your mat. And the best way to maintain your mat, and I didn't put a sticker on this. Oh, gosh. Okay. I put it on the wrong side. So listen, that's not supposed to happen. Which side did I have that on? That way. So maintain your mats with your protective sleeve. Let's see the difference. See? That's the right side. Now I'm going to go put a sticker on before I take that off again. Maintain your mats with your clear sleeve. So whenever you're done crafting, you want to put that clear sleeve right back on your mat. I will keep a pack of baby wipes handy. So if I ever need to, like if I'm in between projects and kind of have some lint on my mat, I will just use a baby wipe and just wipe it down. Again, that's a maintenance thing I do. If my mats are really dirty, I can take some Dawn, just regular Dawn dishwashing soap, and I use like the Scrub Daddy sponge, and I just like little circular motions, clean off my mat, rinse it off, and then leave it to dry. Initially, you will be like, oh my gosh, there's no more stick in this. What am I going to do? The stick comes back. So once it's dry, your stick comes back. If it's just like you have used the heck out of that mat, it's got lots of cuts in it, and it's just your edges are starting to curl, it's time to replace your mat. And I have a lot of different mats in different rotations. So I did just do a purge when I had to reorganize something, and I purged out like 3 or 4 mats. And I mean, I use my cutters all the time. And so my mats get a lot of wear and tear. If you, on a regular basis, I would say like for regular cutting, your mat should last at least 6 months. So that's just like a weekend hobbyist. Your mat should last at least 6 months, maybe a year. If after you've had your mat for a year, you can even write the date on the back of it just to track yourself. If after a year you're like, I can't get this clean anymore, go ahead and get yourself a new mat. Treat yourself. Use your Michael's rewards and treat yourself to some new mats. All right. Well, thank you all so much. I'm so glad this was helpful for everybody, and thank you for joining me. We'll see you next Thursday.